Errol Spence reveals a second injury he had going into the Terence Crawford fight. When Bud hears it, he loses it and goes off. We're going to talk about what that injury was with Errol Spence, and we're going to talk about what Bud Crawford's response was. So Errol Spence, man, he was quiet ever since early August. Ain't nobody heard nothing from him. And then early this week, man, he came back with a bang. And he been making headlines throughout this whole week. Errol Spence, he told everybody, I'm back. And then he immediately followed that up with a video showing that he was leaving surgery. Everybody wanted to know what surgery he had because he had a big eye patch on his eye. And then we soon found out that Errol Spence had cataract surgery, as he posted it up under the caption when he was getting wheeled out of surgery. And in that caption, Errol Spence basically said, this is the reason why I was getting hit with so many shots in that fight with Bud Crawford. You know, I've been needing to get this surgery, and now I got it. Right? So everybody came out. We know what's been going on ever since then. Everybody been accusing Errol Spence of making excuses, of being a sore loser, and that shit gonna come with the territory. We knew that was gonna happen. But anybody that's been watching Errol Spence throughout his career know that something wasn't right with him in that fight. He didn't look like he's ever looked in a fight before versus Terence Crawford. Now, of course, Terence Crawford fans, they gonna give him 1,000% credit. They gonna say it's because of Bud Crawford and it's because Errol Spence never been in the ring with somebody on the level of Bud Crawford, and that's cool, right? If they want to say that, that's cool, because they got a right to say that because he won the fight. But if you use common sense, all you got to do is look at the other fights that Bud Crawford had against competition that wasn't even near the level of Errol Spence. And they performed much greater than Errol Spence did. They put on a much better fight than Errol Spence did against Terence Crawford. Errol Spence performed like he was a Rudy Poo, like a C or a D level fighter. And we know that is not the real Errol Spence that we saw. So months after the fight, it was a lot of rumors circulating that he had different injuries that he suffered in training camp. Well, Derrick James never wanted to say anything. Errol Spence, we didn't know where he was. You know, he was off in other countries, traveling, enjoying his family and things like that. So we didn't hear from him. So everything that we was hearing through the grapevine was just speculation. And ever since Errol Spence came out and revealed that he had to get cataract surgery because that was one of the problems and the issues that he was having leading up to the Terence Crawford fight. And in the Terence Crawford fight, you know, didn't nobody else think that they was going to hear anything else out of Errol Spence because everybody gets on his helmet saying he making excuses. And, you know, if they don't like you or if they're a fan of another fighter, anything you say, they going to use against you. You know, now Errol Spence, he's arguing with Ishai Smith, a former professional boxer himself, right? Because Ishai Smith, he always got a lot to say because he wasn't shit as a fighter. And I'm just keeping it real. Y'all can get mad if you want to. So he always got a lot to say about other elite level fighters. This ain't the first time. So he's making references on social media that Errol Spence is making excuses. This is the day and age of these fighters now. They can't take losses. So Errol Spence gets to going back and forth with Ishai Smith. And he tells Ishai Smith, for the last month leading up to the fight, I couldn't even spar because I had a rib injury. And Errol Spence says, I got $1 million for anybody that can come up with any footage of me sparring at least 4 weeks out from the fight. Now, what I heard that it was 6 weeks. He couldn't spar for the last 6 weeks of training camp. So he said he got a meal ticket for anybody that can prove him wrong on that. And then he comes back and he says, and a week of the fight, I got cleared for a shot in my side. Right? Just a week, the week of the fight, he got cleared for a shot that he was getting in his side, right? I guess he was getting, you know, shots for the pain or whatever they had to do for the healing process for his rib that he injured. Now, with all that being said, one of the main things that all the fans are saying is, why didn't you pull out the fight? Why did you go in the fight knowing that you were suffering from all these injuries? And Errol Spence, he comes and he says, if I wouldn't have fought, y'all would say I was scared. So we could clearly see, man, that the biggest and best fighters, they are affected by all of the trolling that goes on social media. It affects these fighters nowadays. They have to deal with way more than the fighters in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s and things of that nature had to deal with. It's a whole different era, man. They got to deal with a lot. And a lot of fighters, they can't deal with those things. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I saying Bud Crawford or Errol Spence can't deal with the criticism. I'm just saying that, it gets to all of them at some point in time. So now, of course, Terence Bud Crawford, he gets wind of this, and this is what Bud Crawford has to say. And he says sarcastically, right? Yeah, I need 3 surgeries that I haven't got. So do that make me handicapped as well? With crying, laughing emoji, right? And basically what this is right here is Terence Bud Crawford. He's getting aggravated with all of the shit that people are saying on Errol Spence's behalf on social media. People gonna get up under his comments or at him and get to saying, see, Errol Spence was injured. You ain't never beat nobody. Everybody that you beat, they had something wrong with them. So that's his way of lashing out, right? And I don't really take that as him going at Errol Spence, but hey man, that's his way of lashing out. That's his way of trying to defend himself. Then Bud comes back again. And he said a whole lot more than this, but a lot of it was reference towards like fans and Teofimo Lopez. So I'm just reading y'all what pertains to Errol Spence. And he says, last I can recall, we definitely get our eyes checked before every fight. I'm just saying, any boxer would know that. But casual fans will say and make up anything. Now, yeah, they do get their eyes checked, but you see that Errol Spence was already wearing glasses, right? So it's easy for him to pass a regular routine eye check. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got to tell them people that he got a dark cloud over his eye. They already know that his eyesight is fucked up. That's why he got glasses. So it's not hard for him to pass the test that they give. And Bud Crawford know that. That's something that the fighter got to let them know, especially if they already have to wear glasses. That was up to Errol Spence to tell the doctor, look, I got this cloud that I've been having over my eye for the longest time. And then they'll go into more extensive testing. So with all this being said, you got 2 completely different situations. You got one situation where fans are not giving Bud Crawford his credit, and he feels some type of way, and he feels that he not getting his just due. And then you got another situation where the other fans, they saying that Errol Spence is making excuses and he can't take a loss and all of that. So shit is divided straight down the middle. Now, the thing about it is, the great thing is that, yeah, we probably gonna get a rematch and we can shut all of this shit down. But this is what I've learned from this situation, and this is what fighters on the outside looking in need to learn, and this is what Errol Spence should have learned from dealing with this whole situation, right? You went about it wrong. You should have said right after the fight, yeah, I'm going to give Bud his props, but I wasn't right in this fight. I was injured, and this one was wrong. And the reason you should have said it is because fans are going to criticize you regardless. It made it look bad that you just waited so long to say anything. You should have just let them know and then went off about your business and didn't say shit to nobody else about it. Look, I told y'all what it was. That's that. While I'm vacationing, enjoying my family and doing what I got to do, right? Y'all can talk about that shit and make stories up on social media all day long. I told y'all what it was. I'll be back and I'm going to be a lot better. This is what I was dealing with. Because if it's going to be a rematch, the bottom line is when you get beat like that, you got to tell the world something. Because a lot of people saying, well, if he said that he wasn't going to make excuses, he shouldn't have just said nothing. Nah, you got to say something, because if you don't say nothing, ain't nobody interested in seeing a rematch. You know what I'm saying? If ain't nothing wrong with him and he 100% and he go in there and get whooped like that, don't nobody want to see no rematch. If you already got your mind made up that you're not going to pull out the fight because you want to get that bag and you don't want to pull out, because we know that's part of the reason. You don't want to miss out on the bag like that. So he was going to do anything he could to step in that ring on fight night. Once you make your mind up that you're going to fight, you got to let everybody know what's going on right after the fight. Man, fuck it. They gonna say what they gonna say anyway. So even if it's just to let your fans know, right? Even if it's just to start building the fight up, right? For the rematch. Say something. They gonna criticize you regardless. And as far as it goes for Bud Crawford, you gotta understand too, bro. You know what I'm saying? People not always gonna give you the credit that you think you deserve. That's for you and the people around to know what you did. If you feel like that you the best fighter on the planet and you would have did the same thing regardless of what the issue was, well, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? You can't argue with these people and make them feel no different than what they already feel. And that's a fact. In this situation, man, with Terence Bud Crawford, I don't know if he's lucky or just unfortunate. I don't know if he's lucky to always get these fighters where they do have things going on with them, whether it's they washed up or whether it's a knee injury that they had, or if he's unfortunate because he are getting these fighters in this way and he not getting credit because of this situation, right? But the real fans that know boxing and his peers, they gonna know you great regardless, you know what I'm talking about? And you gotta realize that all the best got criticized, but when you retire, that's when they give you all your flowers. And that don't matter who you are. Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Evander Holyfield, all of them. They got criticized when they was active. Andre Ward, that wasn't too long ago. Look at how they criticized Andre Ward when he was active. Now they tell you he was the best thing smoking. That's just what it's going to be. I'm excited for this rematch. And for people that thinking I'm riding the fence, nah, I'm just reporting the news. It's man down strap season still over here. He just got to go in there and prove that he can beat Terence Bud Crawford. Bud got one up on him right now. Anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure y'all hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed to the channel.
Leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide, choking on that lead.
2 miles per hour, so everybody see.